Our friends at the Free Speech Union have been busy, and there have been a number of issues involving freedom of speech that we've covered here on the platform, and they have been into like dogs with a bone. We spoke last Friday to Mark Mitchell, the Minister of Police, regarding reports that there is some sort of hate hub in the police, and that there seems something off or inappropriate about training police to recognise hate speech when there isn't a specific hate speech provision in our Crimes Act. Last week, the Free Speech Union went and talked to the Police Commissioner, Andrew Costa, about that. And I wanted an update on how that discussion went. So we're joined now by Jonathan Ayling, leader of the Free Speech Union. Jonathan, what was the mood or the tenor of your meeting with Andrew Costa?
Good morning, Sean. Well, that was a private conversation with Andrew Costa, and we agreed that it would be non-prejudicial. So I'm not going to go into those details, but I'll say it was a frank conversation, but one held in good faith. And I think police have always been willing to engage with the Free Speech Union in good faith, and we appreciate that. But nonetheless, we remain very concerned by police actions and the training that has been implemented here. We think that while the police are operating in good faith and while they may have good intentions, what they're doing is beyond the pale. It is actually really risking public confidence in the police. And what I don't appreciate is when the Free Speech Union or other civil society actors holds those institutions to account. And then it's like when Peters points out that there is failing trust in the media, and then it seems that the only reason there is failing trust in the media is because the Deputy Prime Minister is pointing that out. I would suggest that there's a narrative, people would trust the police if the Free Speech Union would just stop pointing out what they're doing. Well, I would say actually...
Was that kind of what he said, without revealing what exactly was? I mean, did he say it's just because you guys are steering?
I would say that people will trust the police when the police are trustworthy, and there is a lowering trust for police. And, Sean, when the Free Speech Union has 3 cases right now for wrongful arrest, I can't blame them.
Okay, how are those progressing? And those are wrongful arrests for people simply, peacefully expressing an opinion, or in one case, holding a scrap of paper on a street. How are those cases progressing?
We are seeing police double down at every extent. Just on Friday, we were in court defending Paul Burns, who is an individual who held a sign that says $100 for anyone who can show me that slavery is more evil than abortion. And he's a pro-life advocate. He was arrested for knowingly and willingly in public offending someone. And we said,
but there's no crime of offending someone. How can this possibly ever come to conviction?
Well, Sean, under Section 4B of the Summary Offences Act, that is a crime to knowingly and intentionally in public offend someone. And it's a very rarely used law, of course, because in a free society, we don't stop people from offending others. But this is where, if police are going to run with a narrative that lowering decline in institutions is a problem, and I agree with them, we need to see them be very mindful of what their actions are doing. And Sean, I want to just press into a few of these details around the training here. It's come to light for us, and I think you've done a good job at trying to get the details out of the Free Speech Union on this, and we've done the best we can at getting those, and we're getting more to hand as it is. And the more information we have, the more concerned we are by this.
My understanding is that if the government were to have its way, and that the government has had some indication from police that the examples used in the free speech training were not good examples, and the content of that online training is going to be changed so it is less provocative.
So there are 2 things that I think the Commission is happy for me to announce. It's already been discussed publicly by Mark Mitchell when you had him on the show, that the Commissioner has announced a review of this training. And I would suggest that comes as a direct and only result of the work of the Free Speech Union. He has also said to me that the 2 examples that we were most outraged about, that apparently are graphics that appear on the screen. It's not strictly part of the training, but is part of the online module, are the claims Kiwi not iwi and that there are only two genders as examples of hate speech.
Yeah.
However, Sean, this training is going ahead, and they are being trained to recognise, record and respond to hate speech, non-criminal hate offences and hate crimes. And both the Justice Minister and the Law Commission, as we have considered this issue with them, have not known that we have hate crimes in New Zealand already. So it's a novel interpretation by police to use the Sentencing Act, Section 91H, to justify and the response that we've had there is kind of, well, there's nothing to see here. The Sentencing Act has been in place for over 20 years, and it's never been used to record hate crimes up until this year.
But that was the other thing the Minister said to me on Friday, Jonathan, was that as far as he is aware, there is no hate hub. There is no repository for people who say offensive stuff.
And look, he's got that wrong. The hate hub is a colloquial term. If you ask police, is there a hate hub? They'll say no. There is an internal database where all interactions and records are kept, and police are being instructed to identify bias indicators so that they can identify potential crimes going forward, or recording hate motivations so that it later facilitates the use of Section 9 in the Sentencing Act. So it does mean that police are recording these, and we're not sure exactly what the threshold is yet. And that's a really important point. It seemed to me that even police are not entirely clear at the moment themselves what the threshold is for recognising, recording and responding. And you know what, Sean? You can't blame them. That's the inherent, unavoidable impossibility of trying to get the state arm to deal with hate.
Yeah. I also got the feeling that a lot of the stuff that's happened inside police was a precursor to changes that were supposedly going to be introduced as a result of the Royal Commission into the Christchurch mosque shootings, but that some of that stuff, the government's now said we're not going to go any further on that. Some of this has been headed off at the past or will not come to fruition, but it had to be done in the expectation that more recommendations of the Royal Commission were going to be implemented.